This is Mac OS Ken.
Piper Sandler talks about talking to teens. Ming-Chi sees a lot riding on Apple's headset plans. And Apple Retail is officially headed to India. It is Thursday, the 6th of April, 2023. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken. Brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Go to hellofresh.com/MOK50 and use code MOK50 for 50% off. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. The key to Apple's immediate future is the same thing it has been for the last decade and a half. That is the indication from analysts from Piper Sandler. Apple Insider has the firm leaning pretty heavily on its recent Taking Stock with Teens survey and leaning more heavily on iPhone. Quoting the firm's note, Apple's share of smartphone ownership remains near record highs in Piper Sandler's Taking Stock with Teens Spring 2023 survey. In addition, the iPhone could return to record highs due to the 88% purchase intention among teens. We note over 25% of teens plan to upgrade to an iPhone 14 this spring or summer. This is slightly ahead of the 24% purchase intention for the iPhone 14 last fall. And since it is a Lord of the Flies, Logan's Run kind of planet, why not? It's not all about iPhone, by the way. Quoting the firm again, Apple's other hardware metrics also showed strong results, with more than 35% of teens already owning an Apple Watch and 73% owning AirPods, both new records. Survey results have them stating what seemed obvious. Apple's place as the dominant device brand among teens remains well intact. From yesterday's survey to last quarter's earnings, the Piper people also had thoughts on Apple's upcoming earnings report. They're looking for the company to beat the street. For the March quarter, the piece says Piper Sandler predicts Apple's revenue to be $98.8 billion. That's a rise of $1.6 billion over the same period in 2022 and above Wall Street consensus. And thus begins the build-up. Apple's earnings report and associated call covering the second quarter of fiscal year 2023 are about a month away. The company has set both for Thursday, the 4th of May. Piper Sandler has a positive rating on Apple shares. TipRanks puts the firm's price target on the shares at $195. More numbers on hardware tied to augmented reality and virtual reality. TF International analyst Ming-Chi hit medium on Wednesday, offering sales figures for current AR/VR gear and questioning the category's future. On the stuff that's already out there, the analyst says Sony has cut its 2023 production plans for the PSVR 2 by about 20%. The product lifecycle shipment for Meta's Quest Pro is only around 300,000 units. And 2022 shipments for Pico, China's largest AR/VR headset brand, were more than 40% lower than expected. That leaves Apple to play the part of Obi-Wan Kenobi, the category's only hope. Quoting the analyst again, there is currently insufficient evidence to suggest that AR and VR headsets can become the next star product in consumer electronics in the foreseeable future. Apple's announcement event is likely the last hope for convincing investors that the AR/MR headset device could have a chance to be the next star product in consumer electronics. He also expressed concern that companies making components for AR, VR, MR, XR hardware may not do as well as some expect. If you're running super old operating systems on your Apple hardware, a rumor making the rounds may give you reason to update or upgrade. iDownload blog had reliable leaker Stella Fudge taking to Twitter on Wednesday, listing operating system versions for which a number of Apple services may stop working in the next month. According to the post, Apple services such as the App Store, Apple TV Plus, Maps, and others may stop working on devices running iOS 11 through iOS 11.2.6, macOS 10.13 through macOS 10.13.3, watchOS 4 through watchOS 4.2.3, and tvOS 11 through tvOS 11.2.6. iCloud should keep working, according to the leaker. As for why this is happening, I'm assuming it actually is happening, no indication is given. Still, iDownload blog takes a guess. That site figures it could be a security move on Apple's part because forcing people to abandon older OS versions is one way to ensure everyone has the latest security protections. Seems kind of heavy-handed, though the hand would be landing on a relatively small number of people. The piece points out that Apple's own stats show iPhones running iOS 14 or older accounting for less than 8% of the iPhones out there. Seems likely that the percentage running iOS 11 through iOS 11.2.6 is significantly smaller than that. Speaking of operating systems, I told you yesterday of reports of serious battery drain for up-to-date iPhones since the release of iOS 16.4. I also told you there was talk of an imminent update to address such problems. That talk has gotten louder. MacRumors says it can now independently confirm that Apple is testing an iOS 16.4.1 update internally. The site expects that to be released in the next week or two and to be focused on bug fixes and/or security patches. More news in a moment, but first a word from today's sponsor, HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. We talked yesterday about the Save the Planet, Save the Money parts of HelloFresh. How HelloFresh meals have a 31% lower carbon footprint than the same meals made from supermarket ingredients, how most of the packaging is curbside recyclable in most states, and how meals from HelloFresh cost less than the same meals at the grocery store and way less than takeout. Let's focus on the food, particularly the goat cheese chicken with figgy balsamic. None of that is anything I would have ever put together on my own. But you know what the real revelation was? The carrots. They were a side, roasted on a baking sheet with potatoes, olive oil, salt, pepper, and a little garlic powder. I hate carrots, but I loved these. The meals I've had with HelloFresh have been simply delightful. But try them for yourself. Go to hellofresh.com/MOK50 and use code MOK50 for 50% off, plus your first box ships free. That's hellofresh.com/MOK50 and code MOK50 for 50% off and free shipping on your first box. Don't miss this great offer on America's #1 meal kit. Get free shipping on your first box and 50% off with code MOK50 at hellofresh.com/MOK50. The wraps are not off of Apple's first store in India, but they are up and visible. On Wednesday, according to a piece from TechCrunch, the Cupertino company released a picture of the barricade of its first retail store in India, called Apple BKC, that's situated at Jio World Drive Mall in the country's financial capital of Mumbai. No word on exactly when the store will open, though the barricade does say, arriving soon. The big door prize is a big winner itself, it seems. Apple TV Plus issued a press release Wednesday announcing that the show has been picked up for a second season. Led by Chris O'Dowd and created by Emmy winner David West Reed, the show tells the story of a small town that is forever changed when a mysterious machine appears in the general store, promising to reveal each resident's true life potential. The show has a 93 with audiences on Rotten Tomatoes and a 94 with critics. Episode 4 of the 10-episode first season dropped yesterday. New episodes hit each Wednesday on Apple TV+. Word of another big feature on the way for Apple TV+. The Hollywood Reporter says Apple's streaming service has won the rights to the Jonah Hill, Keanu Reeves dark comedy, Outcome. According to the report, Outcome will star Reeves as Reef, a damaged Hollywood star who must dive into the dark depths of his past to confront his demons and make amends after he is extorted with a mysterious video clip from his past. Hill will direct the film, which he also co-wrote. He will also serve as a producer on the project. And finally today, when I talked yesterday about the seemingly interminable award season, I was sort of snide about the Webby Awards. I apologize. That was foolish of me. I should have reserved my lack of regard for the MTV Movie and TV Awards. On a completely unrelated note, congratulations to Apple TV+. One of the Cupertino streamer's titles has been nominated for a very prestigious MTV Movie and TV Awards award. Apple Insider says Selena Gomez, My Mind and Me, has been nominated for Best Music Documentary. The documentary will be Apple's only turn at this year's ceremony, though not the only one for Ms. Gomez. The piece says she is up for 2 other MTV Movie Thing awards for the show Only Murders in the Building, one for Best Performance in a Show, and one for Best Kiss. And you say, why would you not take the MTV Movie and TV Awards seriously? Winners will be announced on the 7th of May. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Go to hellofresh.com/MOK50 and use code MOK50 for 50% off. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. info@macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.